Alright, as mentioned, let's go to intercept the ship.
See if you can find any more news on the Protopets.
But in the meantime...
And now, Behind the Hero brings you the conclusion of our series on Captain Quark. As of this airing, the fugitive superhero has been missing for almost 6 weeks. Did he die heroically? Was he the victim of an overzealous fan? Or is he still out there somewhere? The galaxy may never know. But stay tuned for more baseless speculation and crackpot theories on Behind the Hero.
That was kind of a worthless episode.
I'm sure we will eventually find out what happened to Quark. He's in the next games after all, anyway. Alright, Prime Smolg is Cloud City. Well, kinda, sorta. It's if Cloud City was more like an oil rig, because, you know, it's suspended in the clouds, but it has basically a set of, you know, constructions, as you can see. So the word of the day is watch your step. I'm not sure why this, you know, high-security transportation place is infested with critters that are not the Protopet, but, you know...
Don't you see, they're all part... It's all part of the security detail. Nature works for free.
That's
what the Empire...
So it's kind of like... sorry, go on, Lubes.
That's what the Empire should have done in Empire Strikes Back. Just switch off the anti-gravity on the on those walkways that Han and the others were on, and so they just fall to their deaths.
Also, Jova, so it's kind of like instead of what happens in real life, where HelloFresh was actually caught by employing actual monkeys in order to catch fruit for their services.
Good lord, the truth is stranger than fiction.
We live in the dumbest timeline.
It's all because of that goddamn gorilla.
Alright, as you can see also, you need the levitator for, you know, moving from platform to platform. Thankfully there are, you know, context-sensitive spots, you know, just there to...
We're not gonna make it!
Again, thankfully with unlike with Spyro in this case, like I said, the trick is to perform a sort of a bounce maneuver, getting up and then gliding a bit down.
I was more imitating those bits from Sonic Heroes where it's like, we're gonna crash!
So, you know,
that's ST1.
I'll admit, as a kid, I always had doubts about reaching certain areas because they had them hidden behind the fog, which sort of made me wonder, wait, am I really supposed to go here? But no, this is one of those cases where, see that platform? You can fly to it.
Thanks, Todd. Well, keep in mind there's also the map that you can consult to check where you can go.
I know, it's just like, well, typical game design, at least at that point, had trained me that when something is foggy in the distance, unless there's land connecting it, you typically could not reach it, and it was just for show.
Anyways, you can, like I mentioned in a previous part, that one of my gloves, new weapon is a glove that fires, you know, small turrets. They're very simple. They get better, obviously, as we level up, but you know, they're there just to give extra damage. Don't count on killing that many enemies unless there are, you know, small bites with these. And of course, like we got in another part of the Shipinator.
Now you are a harmless sheep.
Well,
enjoy the rest of your life.
Until this gets leveled up to maximum level, because one characteristic that the mutator weapon will actually gain from this point on is that at maximum level, it has a peculiar extra gimmick. The first animal that you mutate, just, you know, enemy that you mutate, basically turns into an evil animal, in this case an evil ship, that will attack the other enemies in some capacity, usually by exploding.
But Tia, is it truly evil if it's on our side?
Well, in that case, brainwashed, I guess, but, you know, it's still, again, that's the connotations of, you know, transforming a sentient being into, you know, another completely different animals, especially if they are already stuff like robotic in nature, you know, raises so many questions. So, let's just put it for comedy use and leave it at that.
Theo, are you suggesting that genetically modifying someone against their will is immoral? Come on, we're the good guys here. I mean, I guess technically when Neocortex did it, he created the world's greatest
To
hero.
be fair, the Evolve Array was more about taking existing animals and amplifying their capacity, not completely and radically change, who they were.
Well, he did mutate them, basically, essentially.
I was gonna say,
It's not too different from that, the cerebral grain, I think it's called, the thing that gets, given to the dinosaurs at the beginning of We're Back.
Oh, that's the Cortex Vortex you're thinking of. Basically, there were two devices Neocortex and Embryo had going. The first was the Evolve Array. That's basically what mutates the beings. The Cortex Vortex is supposed to be what bends them to your will.
I was gonna say, Joker, when you said cool, I was like, you're talking about Crunch because he was sort of alright for his first game, but then he was just kind of there in Nitro Kart. Then by the time we got to the Radical game, they turned him into a Mr. T person for some reason.
I mean, the Mr. T persona was kind of there already. It just got more emphasized in later stuff.
General rule of thought, by the time of the Radical Entertainment duology, everyone lost a good chunk of their brain cells.
At least it's not Tiny Tiger becoming Mike Tyson.
Okay. I just want to remind you, Dwibs, that even Coco was kind of dumb during the Radical Entertainment era.
The scientist of the team, huh?
Yeah, the
literal Jimmy Neutron, like, not even joking, she's voiced by Jimmy Neutron.
Hello there. Speaking of, evolved intelligence, because we found the posh.
Sorry, it's just I thought you were one of them.
Dear, what I'd give for even an ounce of their feral ignorance.
A burden often accompanies self-awareness, sir.
Living with the abject savagery of one's own kith and kin is quite more than one can bear sometimes. No, the torments of it all.
I understand.
So it seems we have a mook here who is evolved intelligence.
To destroy.
In that case, I have something that may interest you. But may I first humbly request a meager few bolts for food?
Of course. 40,000 bolts!
It says something that even the wildlife knows about the currency.
Alright, let's see.
This is Darla Crash reporting live from Algon City, where Protopet mania is in full swing.
I'm starting to believe that this channel should employ a different, reporter.
To be fair, the point is robots, so not as easy to dispose of.
Non-allergenic and housebroken, fans of the creature have dubbed it the perfect companion. Between the Protopet's surprisingly low price tag and its lightning-fast breeding cycle, there may soon be more than enough
goody,
Protopets
it's
for
Tribble
everyone.
Trouble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Protopet is supposed to be a deliberate reference to that.
And
more
she
aggressive.
died.
Again.
Dwib, she's a robot.
The entire
She'll be
population
fine.
of that planet will be devoured.
Unless we get there in time.
Alright, that's what we're gonna go technically next part, but obviously this is just one portion of the planet to visit. We still need to, properly explore the part that we saw in the Holovid.
How funny would it be if it turns out that Poshmook is actually just the final evolved... Well, okay, not evolved, but the final adult state of the creature, essentially. Like, they start off feral, but then they become incredibly intelligent as they grow up.
Well, by not actually stating that to Ratchet and Clank, it might betray the fact that if that is the case, Jova, the creature will want to keep that information for themselves in order to avoid, the others being known and limited the competition, which,
Exactly.
betrays a sense of malice.
Well, nobody said he was a nice guy just because he lamented the fact that his species were feral. For all we know, that could have just been an act. And given that, not after that, he did charge us through the nose for bolts, I get the feeling he may not be the most morally uprighteous fellow. Like, what does he even do with that money?
Well, if the cutscene is anything to go by, eating.
He eats it.
I mean, metabolism and everything, you know?
You know, that makes me think about Donkey Kong Country. Like, they use bananas as currency, but they also eat the bananas.
Well, to be fair,
How
it's
is that
not...
economy not collapse?
It depends on the structure, Lives. There's an indie game called Caves of Food, which got a proper release recently, where because it's set in a, not necessarily a post-apocalyptic era, but a far future where everything is mutated and it's a bit of a chaotic state, the currency is water, specifically measured in grams. So basically the economy there is not being poor does not mean, you know, begging the street, but dying of thirstness, of being thirsty. So again, it's all balanced out in that. It's a neat concept. So my point is that it's possible, Glibs.
Also, Jova, not Jova Sensi, the ones that they eat are the normal bananas. The golden bananas they just keep. There's a difference, because especially by the time we get to Donkey Kong 64, we establish that there's even different colors of bananas. There's yellow bananas, there's green bananas, there's blue bananas, the ones that Lanky eats. So...
But you just mentioned that Lanky eats them, so that means that they double as both currency and also a treasure unlockable, but also stuff that they eat.
Well,
oh yes.
Keep also in mind, Jova, that the regular bananas gets actually, you know, given to the BDSM duo. I can't believe I have to address it like that. That guards the doors, you know.
Yeah.
And also, how can't we forget the crystal coconuts, because the animated series was a thing.
Well, the crystal coconuts were already a thing in Donkey Kong 64.
That's what I mean. The 64 came after, or, you know, while the series was going, and Rare basically implemented that as a reference to it.
Oh, okay.
God bless Rare and the links they were willing to go with just how weird that series could be.
Honestly, I still don't particularly care much about it. Like, I applaud the interesting effort that they put, but that still doesn't really make it that much appealing to me. Particularly, and also they completely dropped the ball because literally the last episode is a very merciless clip show that doesn't even have a proper conclusion to the series. It's like, why do you even try?
It's like, for a series as glorious as that, you ended with a clip show.
The voice acting was okay for the most part anyway, and the guy that they got to specifically just for singing for Donkey Kong himself, he's actually not that bad. Shame that the songs suck most of the time, but you know, the effort and everything.
The singing was unironically good, but yeah, the songs could be hit and miss. That said, there were some absolute bops, some of which some people still know to this day.
Mostly thanks to people like Siva Gardner, because, you know, there's not one meme that hasn't, you know, been, overly referenced by that channel over and over.
Although, to give Pirate Scorn credit, it got an Ailstorm cover. Ailstorm are interesting. Like, they're an adult cover band, but they cover some of the most childish pirate tunes. Like, they did a remix of Pirate Scorn, and yes, they did do a remix of You Are a Pirate from Lazy Town.
Of course. Alright, in this case, if you notice, we need to use the dynamo in combination to move some platform. Also, more texture glitching. Whoops.
Ah, the old days.
No, I'm pretty sure this is a thing for the remaster.
It is hard to tell at some points. And mind you, that is not even a knock against the PS2 era. It's like, just stuff like that might be a bit more susceptible with the PS2 times.
If it was present in the PS2 era, I guess one component of, you know, helping not for it to be visible would have been the fact that since it was in a 480 resolution, there was a lot more jagged edges, and as a result, you know, on a CRTV would have not been super noticeable, I guess.
Definitely more likely, like, which might be why we see a lot of clipping in some PS3 remasters. Oh snap.
What the?
False alarm.
Hello,
Ratchet and Clank.
you lucky devils.
Angela Cross.
Has just sent you a galactic greeting.
Guys, if you get this message, please meet me on my home world. Just so you know, I found my old ID badge. I'm pretty sure we can still use it to infiltrate MegaCorp HQ, but you're gonna have to hurry. Before the Protopets completely overrun us! Oh, and sorry for the balloonogram. It was the only thing I could get off this
We
point.
hope you enjoyed your galactic greeting.
That Angela is quite resourceful.
Yeah,
Yay.
she thinks of everything, doesn't she?
She also appears to be in great danger.
Oh, we'll get to Geraldine. Trust
I was
me.
gonna say, is there another? I was gonna make a little reference, but I can't remember. Is there another character known for their resourcefulness that's also voiced by Cat Susie?
I mean, Calf Susie has voiced a ton of characters, so I think if you search hard enough, yeah. I mean, I guess we could count Phil and Will, given how much the babies and Rugrats get out. And hey, she voiced one of the kids from Lost Odyssey. They had to be resourceful given how they nearly froze to death that one time.
That being said, Waves, I wouldn't say, wouldn't the fight... I'm sorry, go on.
No, Cook was her name, I was just remembering, that's all. Go on.
Also, Waves, I wouldn't really define resourcefulness, having to deal with the Protopets using snowballs. I'm pretty sure those are not very effective.
Well, it seemed to do the job against the one she hit.
Like I said, thanks to the box breaker, from now on, cleaning up, a scenery from boxes and, scenery part is actually much easier.
Is the box
Imagine how
breaker in any
useful
future
that would
games?
be.
It's basically a staple from now on, Waves, yes.
Imagine how useful a weapon like this would be in a Crash Bandicoot game.
Well, considering in this case stuff like the box counter is not, that important for the purpose of collectibles and stuff, I can get why. In this case, it's more about farming the currency. It would be like,
absolutely.
It would be like if Crash had a device that allowed to, not aside from breaking boxes, if part of the scenery would be destructible and you could gather Wumpa fruits from that. Yeah, the fact that you can even turn the nests of that spawn, some of the enemies, into ships. The logistics behind these weapons are interesting at the very least.
I wonder, could you technically turn a chair into a sheep at this rate?
Only if it was like robotic and against you, I suppose. The franchise will not use this device for story purposes until a specific point, which don't worry, it will be noted when it happens. So we don't really have much of an occasion of, a character suffering that kind of fate. Yeah, this is the plasma coil, there we go. I didn't explain much about the plasma coil. It's not similar to the Tesla clock from the first game. It basically shoots a single ball of lightning that, when hitting an enemy, propagates electricity to nearby targets. Again, it's relatively useful, that's why it has a limited amount of ammo. I wonder what's that device? Let's see. The
I gotta-
Hipnomatic,
You need all of the parts to make.
but I will need all of the parts to actually make it. It's a device that will allow me to control small drones in specific areas. I'm basically getting ahead of myself because eventually the game will require you to assemble this target by finding all the parts. So. There we go. I think with this I only aim to return to the ship. Alright then, yeah, I think that's it. So, I think next part I'm actually gonna go to deal with the Protopet infestation in the suburban area. About which specific planet it is.
It's on that planet.
Well,
I mean, I hope it is not a planet. Hoping it's not a planet that recently got downgraded to a star.
Alright then, tune in for the next part where, as mentioned, we go to Damozel to deal with the Protopet infestation. See ya.
See ya.
See you then.
Bye.